Gwen Walz, wife of Tim Walz and First Lady of Minnesota, is out campaigning for the Harris-Walz campaign, which really puts Kamala Harris to shame because Kamala Harris, as we all know, tried for so long to get away without doing a TV interview. She is refusing to take questions from the press. Where's Harris's husband? Well, Gwen Walz is out on the campaign trail and she's not doing too hot. In fact, I think she's doing the opposite of hot. She is crashing and tanking and, quite frankly, humiliating herself. Let's take a look at her latest campaign stop.
And they're coming for our reproductive freedom too, right? Now, I read that J.D. Vance said he was really disturbed by teachers who don't have biological children.
Okay, we're going to do a quick fact check here. I actually pulled up the quote from J.D. Vance. Randy Weingarten, who's the head of the most powerful teachers union in the country, she doesn't have a single child, Vance said. If she wants to brainwash and destroy the minds of children, she should have some of her own and leave ours the hell alone, said the father of 3 biological children. That really disorients me and it really disturbs me. So to be clear, J.D. Vance wasn't talking about all teachers who don't have biological children. He was talking specifically about one teacher who's in charge of the union, and she has been presiding over a lot of these controversial things that they teach in school now, such as sexual intercourse in as early as elementary school, or inappropriate books in elementary school libraries and classrooms. So that's what he was talking about.
Well, really? Well, for a long time, Tim and I were teachers who struggled with infertility. And we were only able to start a family because of fertility treatments. So this is really personal for me. And I think it is for millions of Americans. We do not take kindly to folks like J.D. Vance telling us when or how to start our families.
What Republican is trying to control when or how you start your family? Like, are we China?
So let me use my teacher voice. English teachers, you know what these babies are for. Okay, here's my Mr. Vance. How about you mind your own business? Okay, you don't have to put your glasses on, but try with me in your teacher voice. Mr. Vance, how about you mind your own business? Yes!
Ooh, that'll wake you up. First of all, terrible acting. And what was up with all those facial spasms? Really bad acting. And if she... I'm not claiming she hasn't been an English teacher all these years. I know she's been a teacher. But you would think that someone who's been a teacher would be able to pull up that muscle memory and use teacher voice more effectively. Miss Walz, I'm going to show you how it's done. Mr. Vance, how about you mind your own business? Mind your own business. Take 2. Mr. Vance, how about you mind your own business? Sorry, my cat was going. But seriously, the over-the-top acting just really hits me as insincere and just pandering, and it's just really fake. Gwen Walz isn't the only one right now embarrassing Tim Walz. It's actually his brother, Jeff Walz. Someone actually found Jeff Walz's Facebook page. Yes, this is his official Facebook page. He posted just shortly after President Trump was indicted last year, "We've just become a third world banana republic." And within those open comments on his post, people were saying, hey, you should join President Trump on stage at a rally and endorse him. And apparently Jeff Walz is considering this. So Tim Walz could be embarrassed not only by his wife going crazy and shrieking on the campaign trail, just not a good look, but also by his brother. I mean, how damaging would that be? And how sad if your brother endorsed the other candidate. According to the New York Post, Tim Walz's older brother is 100% opposed to all his ideology, believes VP Hopeful is not the type of character who should make any decision about the U.S. future. Now, Tim Walz apparently has not spoken with his brother in about 8 years from all the sources I've found online. I did not take any screenshots because his Facebook page is still, for whatever reason, public and people are commenting, and I didn't want to dox any of the commenters, but I think that's very interesting. On top of this, Kamala Harris appears poised to try to pull out of the ABC debate, or at least she's beginning to plant the seeds. According to Kamala Harris's X account, assuming she actually tweets herself, Donald Trump is surrendering to his advisors who won't allow him to debate with a live microphone. If his own team doesn't have confidence in him, the American people definitely can't. We are running for president of the United States. Let's debate in a transparent way with microphones on the whole time. How about you be transparent, Kamala? You refused to do a sit-down interview with the press, and now you've only done one, and we've only seen half the footage. Oh, and by the way, your running mate was there, and he took up, about a quarter of that time, and both of y'all were able to get away with lies and half-truths and never got any pushback. You have not listed any policy positions, any agenda ideas on your website. So save us your lecture about transparency. How about you be transparent first? Now, Kamala Harris wants the mics on because she wants to have that famous girl boss moment. The whole, I'm talking, Donald Trump. I'm talking. I'm speaking now. That whole cliche, tired trope that she uses. It's a canned line. For whatever reason, it's still effective on low information voters, I guess because they don't pay attention to the news. But she's used it out. She's tired of it. But I think a lot of people are underestimating Donald Trump at their own peril. Because when people think about hot mics, they think about that first disastrous debate with Joe Biden, right? Where Donald Trump kept talking over Joe Biden and it just wasn't a good look. But people forget the context about that. Republicans and Donald Trump were so sure that Joe Biden was mentally declining, and obviously he has, or else he'd still be running right now. But the strategy in that first debate in 2020 was clearly to throw Joe Biden off his game, to confuse him and overwhelm him so that he would, flounder on stage. Well, it turned out, obviously, as we found out this year, that Trump should have taken the opposite strategy. And instead of trying to trip Joe Biden, let Joe Biden trip and fall himself, because he's going to fall himself because there's nothing up there. But all of that to say, a lot of people forget how good Donald Trump is on the debate stage with a hot mic. So I pulled this clip from 2015, and I think a lot of people have forgotten this.
This is a tough business to run for president.
I know. You're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
real tough.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see. I'm at 42 and you're at 3. So
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
Yeah, I mean, there you have it. Donald Trump really is great with the hot mic. It allows for those iconic lines and those iconic moments. And, he really is the master of the on-the-spot comeback. Just incredible stuff. Speaking of incredible, I love it when the mainstream media gets caught off their guard, and that happened on MSNBC. They had a panel of mixed race voters, swing voters on, and they asked the panel about Donald Trump's racial attack on Kamala Harris's identity, and the panel didn't answer quite the way that MSNBC was expecting.
Feel some kinship towards her as a mixed person?
Not personally. I find a lot of her trajectory to not be my brand of woman leader. We've got 3 major international crises going on and someone applying to be commander-in-chief. As a woman, I want to see you do more than, appeal to giggling and having a girl moment on the stage.
Cool. I'd go through the rest, but a lot of people don't know this. We as content creators can get in trouble by using footage that we didn't create. And so that a lot of people complain that I talk too much or are like, just let the clip play. I don't know how other content creators get away with it, but I'd say about 1 out of 10 of all my uploads get flagged and I never end up publishing them because I don't want to get a strike on my channel. So we only let certain amounts play before we interject. All of that being said, said, I wanted to, before I do have one more story I want to talk about. It's the New York Times finally coming out and essentially really saying something scary about the Constitution, which is they're calling the Constitution dangerous now. I mean, they're just not even trying to hide it anymore, and I want to talk about that in a second. But before I do, I want to make it very clear. Look, all are welcome on the channel, and for those of you who view my videos and enjoy and are subscribed, I'm so thankful and happy for you. But I do want to be very clear, because if it's time for you to unsubscribe, that is okay. Like, I'm not going to be upset. And I know that seems counterintuitive, because obviously I want to grow my channel and do as good as I can. But in my last video, I got so many comments. Too much explaining for a simple point. Too much talking. Way too much commentary. I just can't finish the video. Stop yapping. You use way too many words and take too long to make your point in all your videos. Brevity would help your viewership. I mean, I want to be very clear. This is not a news channel. I don't deliver. I mean, yes, I talk about news topics, but I thought I was very clear that my channel is all about both commentary and analysis. And specifically, like, my point of view on the issues. And hopefully we agree on the issues. And even if we don't agree, maybe it's Kamala Harris's favorite thing. Maybe it's a Venn diagram where we overlap on some things, and then we each have our own opinions, and that's okay. But I think what really, it's not that these comments bothered me. What bothered me was that so many people made a point to harass me via email about my last video, harass me being Facebook. I got a few Twitter messages. Like, that was just a handful of the comments. Like, if you are unhappy with my content, just do both of us a favor and unsubscribe. This is another one saying taking 8 minutes to get to meat and potatoes is a bit much. And that's when I realized I think a lot of people were upset about the title. So I do want to give you a sneak peek behind the scenes. I have this Google document where I just type out things. You can see in the notes, like at the bottom of the screenshot are just my notes for how I plan videos. But in the middle, this was my original title for my last video. Why J.D. Vance being booed by a huge crowd of firefighters is actually a good thing. So I was initially going to title my last video, you know, more on a clear analysis, right? Why J.D. Vance being booed by a huge crowd is actually a good thing. I ended up changing the title to this. Wow, relentless boos turned to cheers for J.D. Vance. And as you can see in the description box, I actually used why it's a good thing. So I did like use part of my original title in there. But all of that to say, I think maybe expectations were like crossed for some people. And that one guy waiting till the 8-minute mark when I showed the actual clip of J.D. Vance talking. I think all of that to say, and I hope I don't regret saying this, because I don't want, like, my subscriber numbers to plummet. But, like, if you are unhappy, I'm not forcing you to sit and watch my videos. Just unsubscribe and find content that makes you happy. Like, that's all I'm going to say. And, well, no, I'll say one more thing. If you harass me via email or Facebook, I'm going to block you. Same thing goes for Twitter. I'm going to block you. And if you keep leaving these comments on my channel, I will block you from the channel. Just go away. Okay, so this last story is about the New York Times. Take a look at this headline. The Constitution is sacred. Is it also dangerous? One of the biggest threats to America's politics might be the country's founding document. One of my viewers left this comment the other day saying that Republicans essentially worship the Constitution. No, we don't worship the Constitution. But here's why the Constitution is so important. Anything that goes outside of the Constitution is tyranny. The Constitution gives us clear laws, and it gives us clear processes for everything in our government. And so if you want to get something done, you go by the rules. And this is why history is so important. You think about the 13 colonies, right? Right after we broke away from Great Britain, and the 13 colonies were there. I mean, they were so, because of what had happened with, you know, Great Britain, they were so fearful and so distrusting of large federal government. And so what happened was the Constitution was written in such a way to create a broad coalition, to create a broad mandate, to make sure that, it would take a broad consensus to actually get something done. In other words, there shouldn't be these huge pendulum swings where, you get a Democrat president, then you get a Republican president, and then all of a sudden policies shifts back and forth like day and night. No, it should be progress is purposefully designed in the Constitution to go at a glacial pace. Now, it can sometimes happen quick if there's a strong mandate in terms of, a majority in the Supreme Court. Supposedly, I do disagree with that, but that's a topic for another video. A strong majority in both chambers of Congress, and then obviously that party ruling the White House. But the reason we have that, again, is to avoid tyranny. And a lot of Democrats don't realize you can change the Constitution. It's not set in stone. We have these things called amendments, and there's a process to make amendments. And so if you're unhappy with something about the Constitution, then go through that process. You can literally change anything. You can add a new amendment to clarify. So much can be done. So I really am disappointed in the New York Times for even platforming this radical idea that the Constitution is somehow dangerous. Because the more you platform ideas like that, the more you give air and voice to the extreme voices on the left who wish we didn't have a constitutional republic, who wish that they could do whatever they want, And so I just wanted to call out the New York Times and say I'm very disappointed in that, and I just want to make it very clear to people who don't necessarily know a lot about history or know a lot about the Constitution, but it's here to protect all of us. It's to protect you, protect me, protect our neighbors. Because our government, the brilliance of the Constitution is that the Founding Fathers realized that a large federal government couldn't be trusted, that mankind itself is prone to evil, prone to sin, prone to have a greed and a lust and a thirst for power. And the Constitution and our government is set up in a way to prevent that. It's to protect us against a dictator and a tyrant. We're meant to have a strong local government, beginning with our cities, our municipalities, expanding to our state governments, and then last but not least, the federal government, which, I don't want to oversimplify it, but really their main charge is protecting the borders, making sure our national interests are protected overseas, and then, any tasks that are expressly written in the Constitution. And again, we have a process to amend the Constitution. Okay, I know I just went on word salad there after reading comments complaining about me talking too much, and I hope I didn't offend anyone. But that's just my view. If you're not happy watching the channel, I'm not forcing you to. Just please unsubscribe. It'll be better for you and for me. As always, all of this is just my analysis, just my opinion, and I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think Gwen Walz's campaign trail appearance was as embarrassing, as humiliating as I thought it was? Because I thought it was a train wreck, personally. I'd be really embarrassed if I was ever on video screeching like that. Or am I being too harsh? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.